Right now on Hoosier News Source, we'll tell you what happened Monday when alerts said an armed suspect was on campus.
And another Greek organization on cease and desist for hazing. From Bloomington, Indiana, you're watching Hoosier News Source.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Ella Rhoades.
And I'm Karlie Flanagan. IU sent out alerts Monday night after a man suffering from homelessness was suspected to have a weapon near campus. IUPD pursued the man and determined he did not have a weapon and was in distress before apprehending him near the gas station on Indiana Avenue and 3rd Street. Public Information Officer Hannah Skiba said, "We determined that he was not in possession of a weapon. No shots were fired. Resources were offered to the subject. We would like to thank our community for notifying us of the suspicious activity. We will continue to work together to keep our campus safe."
And despite IU's strict anti-hazing rules, another Greek organization is now on cease and desist. On February 24th, the university placed out the Alpha Phi chapter on cease and desist, which suspends all of the organization's activities. A chapter is on cease and desist when there's a, quote, immediate threat or ongoing investigation, end quote. The Division of Student Affairs placed APHI on C&D for endangering others, alcohol, and hazing. Alpha Phi joins Zeta Beta Tau and Theta Chi, who are already on C&D.
A new bill proposed in the Indiana legislature would set a new specific distance from which bystanders must be if they are viewing police activity. House Bill 1186 would make it a Class C misdemeanor for a person to come within 25 feet of police activity after being told to keep away. It is the lowest level charge in the state of Indiana and punishable by up to 60 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The bill passed in the House and is now in deliberation in the Senate.
And speaking of updates regarding the police, IUPD recently announced a new bystander training for their officers. IUPD hopes to have all their officers trained before August in the Active Bystandership for Law Enforcement program. The program focuses on preventing mistakes, misconduct, and peer intervention, as well as promoting officers' health. Exercises during the training include looking at case studies, reflection, and group discussion.
Indiana lawmakers are considering a new bill that would require public school teachers to tell parents if a student changes their gender identity. The bill, which is similar to Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, would also ban discussion of human sexuality in the classroom from kindergarten to 3rd grade. Now moving to the Senate, the bill has sparked some controversy. Several hundred protesters filled the Indiana State House last Friday as the House committee approved the bill. Indiana State Senator Shelley Yoder encourages all Hoosiers to have their voices heard.
From the shopkeepers to the CEOs to ordained clergy, we need to be wrapping that State House to say we represent all the people in Indiana. We come from far and wide.
Opponents of House Bill 1608 are saying it would be dangerous to LGBTQ children, while supporters say the bill will empower parents to choose how to raise their children.
Feeling stressed? Well, the Leddy School of Informatics and the School of Public Health are teaming up to create a new app to find out why. The study will use an app to monitor adults from ages 50 to 64 to figure out when they feel stressed. They say in order to minimize stress, they first need to figure out where it comes from through consistently studying people's thoughts and activities and the data it can show from environmental stressors. They plan to find participants next month for the study.
Now for the latest on this week's weather. It keeps feeling warmer as we approach spring. Kayla Craig is here to tell us what to expect. Hopefully still some nice temperatures. Kayla?
Thanks, Karlie. Today we're in for a warm Wednesday. We'll start off the day with some sun and a few clouds will come out as we reach a high of 72. And some rain is possible later in the day at around 8 p.m. Looking ahead to this weekend, our men's basketball team plays Michigan this Sunday, and it'll be a pretty mild and sunny game day. We'll stay in the upper 40s leading up to tip-off and cool down a little bit throughout the game. The rest of the week doesn't bring us as warm of weather as we'll get today. It'll cool off with a slight chance of rain tomorrow as we head into Friday, where we'll get more rain and possibly a thunderstorm earlier in the day. This weekend, we can expect some sun and mild temps in the 40s, and it looks like it'll start to warm up as we head into next week. Stay safe and have a great week. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, how an earthquake thousands of miles away is affecting IU faculty right here in Indiana.
And we'll show you one of the city's projects to make Bloomington more walkable. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Brookelyn Lambright joins us in studio with the latest on international news. Brooklyn?
Thanks, guys. Clashes between Israelis and Palestinians continued on the West Bank this Sunday. Israel's defense forces are condemning the recent revenge attacks by Israeli settlers against Palestinians. One Palestinian man was killed and several others were injured with stones and other metal objects thrown. This string of recent attacks comes after the shooting of 2 Israeli brothers in the West Bank earlier on Sunday. More forces were sent to the area to de-escalate the situation. Millions of Nigerians are awaiting Saturday's election results. In this election, Nigerians are voting for a new president and seats in the National Assembly. Some voters face difficulties casting their vote after polling station delays and isolated reports of violence. Security around polling stations increased ahead of the election, with armed guards watching voting machines to decrease the chances of election fraud. Key issues on the ballot include political corruption, the rising cost of living, and cash shortages. At least 63 people have died after a migrant shipwreck off the coast of Italy on Sunday. The boat reportedly left Turkey 4 days before it crashed about 500 feet from Italy's shore. It was carrying refugees from Afghanistan, Iran, and several other countries. So far, 81 people have made it ashore. The boat was believed to be carrying around 150 people. Authorities believe it is unlikely more survivors will be found. That's what's going on around the world. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Brooklyn. While recovery efforts are still underway in Turkey and Syria from the earthquakes, several IU School of Medicine faculty members are feeling the effects thousands of miles away. Dr. Mohamed Yabrodi, a professor of pediatrics, and Dr. Dalma Sevgi, an ophthalmology resident, both had families in Turkey when the earthquake struck. Yabrodi's brother narrowly managed to escape, and Sevgi's family is now without a home. The death toll from these earthquakes is now over 50,000.
The city of Bloomington plans to extend the Beeline Trail. Once finished, the trail will go all the way from North Adams to 17th Street and Crescent Road. The new extension focuses on safety and resident accessibility with the addition of street lamps and closer access to more resident housing. The project will begin this spring and will be completed in summer of 2024.
It's a great way to keep people in Bloomington and just a great way to get some exercise, hang out with friends, just enjoy the beauty of Bloomington in a safe and fun way.
For more information and a look at some of the blueprints, visit thebloomingtonian.com.
And both men and women's basketball has been on fire, especially since that win against Purdue and West Lafayette. Did you get to see that?
Yeah, no, okay, I didn't watch, but I watched all the highlights. I'm not a big sports person, but I have to catch up on the Purdue stuff,
Karlie, this is IU. You have to be a basketball fan.
I'm sorry.
Okay, next 3 years.
I was like, I'll get tickets.
Well, anyways, Samantha Condra is here, and she's going to tell us all about it and the latest on other IU athletics. Samantha.
Thanks, Ella. We're now in the month of March, which means the madness officially begins. Although with all that happened this past weekend, I would say that it's already started. We'll start in West Lafayette, where IU and Purdue played in their second game this season. The Boilermakers were looking to clinch their 25th Big Ten title, while the Hoosiers had other plans. Indiana trailed by 4 at halftime, but the Hoosiers came out firing from all cylinders in the second. Jalen Hood-Schifino's 35 points was good enough to help Indiana knock off Purdue at Mackey Arena for the first time since 2013, which that team ended up reaching the Sweet 16. They'll face Michigan next on Sunday for senior night and the regular season finale. Now, let's go to Iowa City, where IU women's basketball played in their regular season finale. Last time the Hoosiers faced Iowa, they got the win, but it was going to be a little more difficult in a sold-out Carver Hawkeye Arena. Indiana was off to a rough start in the first half, but they continued to punch back, and only it trailed by 1 at halftime. This one came to the final 2 possessions, though. Indiana got a stop, leading to Mackenzie Holmes getting fouled on the other end. She sunk both her free throws to give the Hoosiers the 2-point lead, but the Hawkeyes still had 1.8 seconds on the clock to draw up a play, and they got it to Caitlin Clark, who hit the 3-point buzzer beater to knock off number 2 Indiana. Next up, the Hoosiers look to win their first Big Ten tournament title since 2002. That's it for sports. Stay tuned to find out how the tournaments play out for the Hoosiers.
Thanks, Samantha, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News. I'm Karlie Flanagan.
And I'm Ella Rhoades from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.